Okay, here we want to solve a linear equation with parentheses. It's a good idea to go through these steps here. I'll let you read it. Pause the session and read this. Step number 1 is simplify both sides of the equation. And then when you see a fraction or decimal in your equation, you need to eliminate that. We're going to look at some examples that we have those. But in this case, we don't have any decimal or fraction. So the first step is to, looks like we need to distribute, right? Anybody got the right answer? Any answer so far? What did you get? You said for B? 1.25. Any other answer? What did you say? 5/4. Yeah. So somebody give me answer 5/4. You get or the decimal 1.25. So basically, you need to distribute this, right? And then combine the like terms and then solve for it. So let's take a look at the solution step by step. So as you see here, we distribute 8, we get 8b. Then we distribute 8 by -6 becomes 8 times negative becomes -16. We do the same thing with -9. -9 times b give me -9b. Here we have -9 times 1 give you +9. Don't forget you need to distribute with every numbers inside the parentheses. Then you combine like terms. You have 8b plus 3b that give you 11b minus 16 here. And then at this point, we want to move all the b's to one side of the equation, all the constant to the other side of the equation. So if I add 9 to both sides of the equation, then I would move all the b to the left. 11b plus 9b give me 20b. At the same time, if I add 16 to both sides of the equation, then you get 9 plus 16 on the right-hand side. Here where you have to divide both sides by the coefficient of b, which is 20. So you would get b is equal to 25/20. When you reduce this, you get the answer that you just gave me, 5/4. Solve an equation with fraction. As you see, all these examples here, these 3 equations we have, we can find fractions in them. You have -1/2, 1/10, 2/5. To clear fractions in an equation, we can multiply each term or both sides of the equation by LCD, the least common denominator. So we have to find the LCD among all these numbers. LCD between 2, 10, and 5. Multiply each term by that to eliminate the fraction and then solve for them. So for those of you watching this later at home, I suggest you pause the session right now and see if you can complete this on your own and then compare your answer with us. Okay, for all these, we need to find the LCD first. Can somebody tell me what's the LCD among 2, 10, and 5? Somebody says 10. Okay, if you don't know that right away, you can make a little chart here and break these numbers to its prime numbers. So it looks like in this case, 2 consists of 1, 2 here. 10 would be the same as 2 times 5, right? If you break 10 to its prime number, it would be 2 times 5. And 5 only consists of 1, 5. So to find the LCD, you can compare these groups of prime numbers and then pick the largest of all. Here you only have equal amount of 2. I'm going to pick that. And so the product of this would be 10. So the LCD would be equal to 10. So if I had 2 2's here and 1 2 here, then I would pick 2 2's, right? You pick the largest one. You find the least common denominator. So 10 is the one you need to multiply by each term. Or we can write like this, 10 over 1. So each term, this term here, even this 4 here, should get multiplied by 10 to eliminate the fraction. Because the first term becomes what? What is 10 times 1/2? It's 10 over 2, which is 5, right? So you would get minus 5y. What's the next number here when you distribute? 10 times 4 becomes what? 40. 10 over 10 would be 1, so we get minus y. 10 divided by 5, what is that? 2, and then multiplied by 2, that becomes what? 4. So we see how to eliminate the fraction in one step. Here now I don't have any fraction anymore. This equation is equivalent to this equation, and this is easy to solve for now, right? So take a look at the solution. You multiply them by LCD, get minus 5y plus 40 equal to minus y plus 4. Now you need to move all the y to one side of the equation, all the numbers to the other side of the equation. So if I go ahead and add y to both sides of the equation, the y eliminates from right-hand side. You get minus 5y plus y, give me minus 4y. Now if I subtract 40 from both sides of the equation, I get minus 36 here. So here the coefficient of y would be minus 4. If I divide both sides of the equation by minus 4, the answer would be minus 36 over minus 4, which is equal to 9. You're going to solve for x. Once again, we have a fraction. We need to eliminate that. How do you eliminate the fraction? What do we have to find, anyone? LCD. What's LCD? Somebody says 20. Again, for 4 would be 2 times 2. 5 is already prime. 2 is already prime. So here we have 2 2's and 1 2. To find the LCD, when you compare the groups of 2's, you pick 2 2's. And then for 5, you pick 5 here. So it would be 4 times 5, which is 20. Everybody see why it's 20 then? How to find the LCD? Okay, good. So I would multiply each term by 2 or 2 over 1. I have 3 terms. If I multiply each term by LCD, I would eliminate all the fractions, right? So here becomes 20. What did I say? 20. I said 20 first and change it to 2. If I don't divide it by, if I don't multiply it by 20, I don't eliminate the fractions, right? So here I would get 1 here. 20 divided by 4 is equal to what? 5. So first term, I would get 5 times 3. Make sense? That was my first term, which is 15. How about the second term? Do I get rid of the fraction? It's 1. What does that become? 4. So I get 4 times 2x, which is equal to what? You see how I'm eliminating fractions? This would become what? 1. What is that? 10. So it would be 10. Okay. Any questions as how to change this equation here, make it look like a linear equation without fraction? That's all you do, just multiply them by LCD. Once you find the LCD, you multiply each term by that, and then you would eliminate the fraction. Then you can solve for x here. So let's take a look at the solution. Multiply each term by LCD. We get a linear equation. We can subtract 15 from both sides of the equation. We get minus 8 is equal to 10 minus 15 is minus 5. Divide both sides by coefficient of x, which is negative 8. So it would be negative 5 over negative 8, or 5 over 8. And that is the solution. Okay, here we have an equation involving fraction. The first step is to find the LCD among 2, 10, and 5. What's the LCD, anyone? Yeah, this is 2 times 5. So we have 1, 2 we're going to pick, and 1, 5. Among those prime numbers, that's 10. So if I multiply each term by 10, what do I get? The first term becomes 10 over 1 times what? The first term, right? We have all these terms should get multiplied with 10, or 10 over 1. Minus 1/2 y. Second term is multiply 10 by 4 over 1. Here we multiply by minus 9 over 10y. This one you want to multiply it by 2 over 5. Okay, what does the first term becomes? Good. So we get to reduce this. It becomes 1. This becomes 5. We have a minus here, would be negative 5y. Second term would becomes what? 40. Now here we reduce the 10. The next term becomes negative 9y plus this would become 1. What does that becomes? 4, 2, and then ultimately 4, right? 2 times 2 is equal to 4. So you see how I change this equation here and make it look like a linear equation. Make sense? Now that's a lot easier to solve. We're going to move all the y to one side of the equation, all the number to the other side, and solve for them. And somebody said the answer. What did you get for this? Anyone? Negative what? 9? Negative 9? Let's take a look. Yeah. So you get to add 9 to both sides of the equation and subtract 40 from both sides of the equation. You get negative 5y plus 9y give you negative 4y. And here you get 4 minus 40 give you minus 36. Divide both sides by coefficient of y, which is 4. So y would be equal to minus 36 over 4 or minus 9. That's the correct answer. Okay, here we want to simplify This was one of the problems from the homework assignments. The first step is to change all these absolute value and exponents and radicals to its corresponding value. What's the absolute value of -5 is equal to anyone? Somebody says 5. Now, absolute value of a number really is how far that number is to 0. So if somebody asks you what the absolute value of -5 is, locate that number on number line and measure how far that number is to 0. And the distance from that number to 0, which is 5 units, is the value for absolute value. So what's square root of 36? 6 times 6 is 36. You get absolute value of +2. Similarly, it would be also 2. This would be 2 units away from 0. So the always would be plus then, because it's a positive. The distance is a positive quantity. Plus, what is 5 squared? 25. Okay, once we've done that, we're going to follow the order of operation. We go from left to right. Look for what operation? Multiplication or division, whichever comes first. If we go from left to right, looks like the first multiplication here right there. So -2 times 5 is equal to what? -10. I'm going to copy the rest down here and then do the same thing. Go from left to right. Look for multiplication or division. There's one right here. So that would becomes what? -6 divided by 2 is equal to -3. Okay, good. So now I go from left to right. Now I can do addition or subtraction. They give me -13, -10, -3 would be -13 plus 25. So -13 plus 25 is equal to what? +12. Using the order of operation.